Hello and welcome everybody. We are back with another match here. There's been a few changes. Again, nothing super crazy, just little tweaks here and there based on what kind of feels right. And so I'm going to cover those in just a second. I covered a lot of them, a lot of the changes that you're going to see here from my last list in the 5th match of the last league. But to reiterate, I have decided to move the engineer explosives that was in the main board to the sideboard. There's a second copy of Azusa here, and then there's a split of Scout and Grazer. I'm choosing to go with 3 copies of Grazer and 2 copies of Scout, just because I personally prefer the effect of Grazer, but I do think that the effect of Scout is unique enough to have access to a few of them. And in order to make room for some of these changes as well, I've cut a copy of Ancient Stirrings. But yeah, other than that, everything is the same. We're going to have all of the Titans that we can have, all of the Dryads that we can have, all of the Explorers that we can have, all of the Amulets that we can have, just all of everything. All of everything. We are still playing the 1 copy of Crumbling Vestige, and the second Vesuva. I thought about potentially replacing the second Vesuva with perhaps like a Gruul Turf or just some other bounce land to go along with all these 1-drops and Explorers. But to be honest, I've just been liking the Vesuva, and more often than not, a Vesuva is just going to end up being an extra bounce land anyways. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that where it is. I think it's fine. And then, moving to the sideboard, we are currently playing 2 copies of Mystical Dispute. Again, counterspells can be very odd on the curve, actually holding up, even though it's only 1 blue. First of all, this deck doesn't really splash colors very well when you're playing 4 Garenbrigs, so even having the blue in the first place has been problematic in the past. Usually you have to have a Dryad out, so that's been kind of awkward. And then secondly, there are a lot of times where you want to just play all your stuff. Like, if you don't have an Amulet, you just play your untapped land, play a Dryad, play another land, and it's tapped and you have no mana up anyways. So any kind of counterspell can be odd on the curve, and Mystical Dispute is no exception to that. However, we're still playing the Dismembers, we're still playing the Force of Vigor, the Beast Withins. I've added a 3rd Beast Within to kind of combat Tron. I think that Beast Within is very good right now. Well, there's 2 Baloths. That's the card I personally love against all those burn and aggressive strategies. We also saw it has some applications against discard in the last league. So hopefully we can make some cool plays somewhat in that vein during this league. But yeah, we got our Tracker, our Rex Sage, Engineer Explosives, all the standard stuff. We're not playing any of our 1-of bullets, like the Explosives or a Pact Negation in the main. I could see an argument for playing Explosives, but I don't really love Pact Negation, at least at the moment. I might go back to testing it in the future, but as of right now, this is what we've got, and we are going to play it through. So I'm just going to jump straight into match 1 here. Alright, we are good to jump in here. Well, we just need our opponent to be good to jump in here. Alright, looks like we got it. Maybe we can be on the play. I've been pretty lucky with that recently, so no guarantees there. Never didn't have it, y'all. I was always going to be on the play. Why would I even have questioned that? Huh. Yeah. I don't know. This hand needs an untapped land or an Amulet. Otherwise, it's just very slow. I mean, it's got a good array of lands here, but they all intertap. Even the Garenbrig, because we're gonna need to get the Dryad in play before the Garenbrig. I think it's a mulligan. This hand, I like it a lot better, I think. We'll keep. We need to find some lands here. But other than that, I think it might be okay to bottom the Azusa here, because the Grazer is gonna be our turn 1 play, and then hopefully we can play and explore sometime down the line. We need to find a lot of lands for this Azusa to be good. Even a bounce land wouldn't give us that many land drops, so I think we're gonna get rid of the Azusa here. Alright. This hand is going to be rough if we don't draw green mana. Alright, go, little buddy. Go get him. And we're passing back. We'll say good luck to our opponent. Got a Swift Spear. I don't know how to feel about that particular news. It's looking a lot like Burn. Another Grazer is not the worst thing in the world against Burn, but I wish it had a few lands to go with it. Gotta click done here. Maybe I should have mulliganed this hand too. I don't know. Eidolon's vaguely annoying. That one feels real bad. I think I'm doing it though. We just have to find a bounce in here. And we'll take the damage from our Explorer to try to get ahead a little bit. Plus, having an actual green source is most likely going to be better than having a Ghost Quarter, I would think. Can't take too many of these, though. Man. Alright. Well, things are looking rough. Maybe I should have mulliganed. Go ahead and put a Grazer in front of the Swift Spear as well. Better, even if they do have a spell here, then not taking the 3 damage is going to be better than having a Grazer back to block. They can just threaten this every turn, so. Heal it. Alright. Yeah, this is not looking good. Another Eidolon, huh? That might lock them out of casting spells, in all honesty. Oh, man. My deck is taunting me here. I think we're probably good to go ahead and concede, I think. There's not much point in playing this game anymore. Well, guess I should have mulliganed. Yeah, I guess not having the green source in hand for the Explorer made that hand really risky. I didn't really notice that. But we'll make it do. I think Reclamation Sage is fine against their Eidolons. Don't really care for Beast Within or Dismember or Tracker even, to be honest. I mean, Tracker kind of just dies to stuff. I think that we're about something a little different than that. Explosives being able to take out multiple of their 1-drops is pretty good. I'll trim the Scouts for sure, because they have things like Searing Blaze. You can trim 1 pack just because just 1 Titan is going to be good enough. We don't really need to have multiple copies to be able to top deck through like discard spells or something. Explorer is pretty slow. Is Explorer better than the Tribe Scouts, though? I don't think that it is, to be honest. I think the Tribe Scout's going to be better because even if they, like, Searing Blaze or something, like, we may never get to the point where casting Explorer is very feasible. And if they don't have the removal for it, we can get a land drop, possibly 2 land drops, and a chomp block out of it. So, I don't think that Tribe Scout is too terribly bad. Explorer is just pretty medium in this kind of matchup. We could probably cut the Bajuka Bog as well. Yeah, I think I'd rather have an Explorer, I guess, than the Bajuka Bog. Yeah, we'll try this. We'll play first. Hmm. This hand is weird. If the Stirrings finds a bounce land, then we have a turn 1 Stirrings, turn 3 Dryad, curve. So I think that's fine. If we find any land... If we find anything that's not a bounce land, though, then we won't be able to play our Dryad on curve, but we can also find like a basic forest or a breeding pool and still be able to play Dryad. If we find a breeding pool, we don't even have to shock. So I'm going to keep it. Just fill up the ground a bit. We have some life gain and we have an eventual Titan. So we'll play Vestige. We'll make our green and we'll cast the Stirrings and see what we can hit. There's a Growth Chamber. I think Growth Chamber is going to be the pick here. And we'll pass it back. Now this hand is 1 mana away from having Titan mana. Seems decent. And we can actually go turn 3 Dryad into turn 4 Baloth because this castle will enter untapped. So this might be a strong enough curve. Top decking an Amulet would have been pretty decent there, although an actual Primeval Titan is not the worst. It means that we don't have to tap out the turn after we play it. Although, to be honest, if we get to resolve our Titan, that might just be good enough on its own. So, Vesuva. That is an interesting one. So, I think the play is going to... Well, obviously playing Crumbling Vestige for sure, because we need to play our Dryad this turn. And we're going to go ahead and play the Dryad. The question is what land we're playing after, because if I go ahead and play the Garenbrig, then Vesuva can copy Crumbling Vestige and we'll still have Titan mana next turn and we'll have the Scout in play. Or I could play Vesuva copying the Growth Chamber and pick up the Vestige, but then if our Dryad dies, we don't have Titan mana. And we still won't have Titan mana. Well, we can Vesuva copy the Growth Chamber, pick up the Vestige, so we won't have Titan mana no matter what if the Dryad dies. Wait, no, hold on. If I play the Garenbrig now, we can play Vesuva copying Vestige and make 1 off the ETB. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Garenbrig. So if I play the Garenbrig here, we have guaranteed Titan mana next turn. So that's what I'm going to go for. And this also lets us go ahead and play our Tribe Scout, so... Now this gives us the freedom to block with our Dryad if we want to. Interesting. So we have an Azusa on top. So we play a Vesuva copying Vestige, and that means that we'll have 4 lands in play, and the Titan can get Valakut plus Radiant Fountain and kill both of their creatures. Although, to be honest, it might just be second Vesuva, and no, second Vesuva doesn't do it because we would need the Radiant Fountain in play. Interesting. I don't think killing their creatures is going to be a big issue. So I'm going to block there at least. Killing their creatures might be a bigger issue if they can kill our Titan, which is odd. So if we just chump block here, because they probably have a spell, then they'd have to have double spell to kill our Dryad, and then we can Valakut and Radiant Fountain to kill both our creatures and gain 2 life up to back up to 16, and I don't think they can kill us from 16, and if they double bolt our Titan, then we'll have a Summoner's Pact back up. I think that's going to be the best play. I think it's worth taking the 2 here just to ensure this Dryad stays alive for 1 more turn. Alright, so we'll play this guy. We'll make our green. We will play our Titan. It's going to get Valakut and Radiant Fountain. I guess they could have a path as well, but now this makes them choose what path in the first place. And I think it's pretty free to swing with a Dryad here. I'm not really afraid of a haste creature, because they need to kill this Titan, and if we take, let's say, like 3, if they go Swift Spear, Bolt, and swing for 3, then we're just going to play another Titan and probably just kill them. So, because it would be Vesuva copying Valakut and a bounce land off the ETB of this upcoming Titan, and then we'll pick up the Vesuva that's on Crumbling Vestige right now, and replay it as a Valakut, and that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7 triggers, so yeah, that's lethal. If they don't have removal for both of these creatures, that is. I doubt that they have removal for both, so... I guess they could have Bolt plus Path here. Oh, okay, no. I think they're still dead even from this. Let me double check. So, I play Titan, get Valakut and Bounce Land. That's going to be 2 lands with 2 Valakuts in place, so that's 4 triggers. And then I'm going to pick up the Crumbling Vestige and play it as a 3rd Valakut, and there's 3 more triggers. So that's 7 times 3 damage is 21. Yeah, so they're dead. Might as well tap this in the most mana-efficient way. So we'll pack. Okay, let's just go ahead and concede. Alright, so... Honestly, Tribe Scout, despite the fact that I was able to chump block there, not seeming the best. I don't know if that makes it worse than Explore, though, because Explore is still pretty slow, and we're about to be on the draw. So, I don't know. I don't love Tribe Scout in this matchup, but I think Explore is just worse. I mean, even Azusa wasn't that great there, but it's fine. We'll just run it back. And we didn't even have to show them the Baloth, so they don't know that that one's coming yet. So this is like the first hand, except I recognized that we don't have green mana here, so I'm going to mulligan. And this hand is quite good. Yeah, this is a keep for sure. And what are we going to bottom here? Gotta be one of these 1-drops. And I think it's going to be Tribe Scout, just because our Grazer blocks better and it gives us the land drop immediately from it, so... Garenbrig was not a bad draw at all. So we'll name Beast here, I guess. Don't expect them to be countering my Dryad, so, not Dryad, my Titan. So I'd rather have a green source in play for Grazer, if we want it. Hopefully we don't see something like a Smash to Smithereens. They could have that. If they do, then we're just going to Sanctuary, pick up the Cavern, and replay it the turn after to play this Dryad. Okay. We're definitely willing to take 2 damage to get this Dryad into play in the first place. Ooh! Wow. That's pretty crazy. So we can play second Amulet, and play Sanctuary, and... See, so the thing I'm thinking is, we could get Dryad and Baloth into play right now, but I don't know if that's going to be worth it, because we'd be taking 4 damage to gain 4 life. I don't know. I guess it's fine, because then we'd have an extra body in play to block. And if we top deck a Titan, we basically just kill them immediately, so... If we had a Titan here, we might be able to actually cast it, because this Grazer represents a lot of mana. And for that reason, we're going to keep the Grazer in hand as well. Also, it would take an additional 2... Oh, man, I messed that up. Hold on. Well, we're playing the Grazer instead because I don't know why I yielded to Amulet triggers there. That was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Well, now we're taking 6 damage to gain 4 life, but that's okay. Man. Let's not do that again. And we definitely want the Sanctuary in hand. So, sadly, we can't play the Garenbrig right now because it would enter untap with the Dryad, so we're going to have to play Sanctuary again. There's no reason to float the extra mana here, so we'll just pick it up. We'll play our Baloth. And we'll pass it back. Hopefully that additional 2 life will not end up mattering. We still have to top deck a Titan for us to really do anything substantial here. Is it worth blocking with the Dryad? I don't think so. This Dryad represents our Titan mana. So. Feels like a Searing Blaze. Alright. Oh, Blazing the Dryad. Interesting. Is this a path on the Baloth? Okay. Path on the Baloth would have been worst case scenario, but this I think we can deal with. We're going to play Garenbrig. Well, we have our Titan, so looking pretty good here. We have Titan next turn. Are we attacking with Baloth? I think we are not. There's just no real reason to. So we don't have anything like a Pactum Negation to play around a potential Deflecting Palm here. I don't know if that's something we need to play around. It might be. Nope. We are good. Ah, oh, no. Boros Garrison, you failed me. Let's see. Is there anything we can do about that? We can we can float a white with Sanctuary and use the 2 green, 1 white, and the Cavern to activate Garenbrig, leave a white floating, and then get Hasteland plus Crumbling Vestige or a Valakut or something, and that way we can shortcut having to use the Boros Garrison at all, and that way we can haste immediately. But we will not be able to double strike. We'll pick up the Cavern, I guess. We already have a bounce land in hand. We'll activate this, leaving the white floating. We'll play our Titan. Yes. So here, we definitely want, I think, Valakut and the Hasteland. Yep. We'll put Stronghold, and then this. Stronghold, and this. Oh, they conceded. Okay, so we win. Well, despite egregious errors there, we were able to pull through a match against good old-fashioned Burn. No Lurrus this time. I'm not really surprised. Of all the matches to make small little errors in, Burn's a good one because Burn is frankly a pretty good matchup. So, especially if you're able to draw your copies of Obstinate Baloth, that helps. Even though we didn't have to cast it in game 2. We're just a little bit faster than them, and we can play through a lot of the stuff that they have, so. Anyways, regardless, I'm still glad that I didn't get horribly punished by misplays, and yeah. Worth noting that if that Sanctuary had been a... Nah, I guess if it had been a Gruul Turf, we would have still been fine, because we'd just float the red and then get Crumbling Vestige for white. But even then, that puts us in a slightly worse position because we won't have the Valakut in play. I don't know if that's relevant, but regardless, I don't know. Just another situation where there's a lot of different lines there, and I guess maybe having the second Sanctuary isn't that super important. But I think I still prefer it to having the Golgari Rot Farm, just because the Rot Farm would not have allowed us to haste there at all, right? So I guess including a Sanctuary or a Gruul Turf over the Rot Farm was one of the games where that would have been quite impactful, and a lot of lists do play that Rot Farm, so I'm definitely not a fan of including the Rot Farm, that's for sure. Whether it should be a Gruul Turf or a Sanctuary, I think is negligible. I think there's just a slight argument for having the Sanctuary instead, but that's just me. Obviously, if I was playing something like Fire Spout on the board, then it would probably be better to play Gruul Turf. But as of right now, I think Sanctuary is fine. Alright, well, that is it. I'm going to call it there. If you like what you saw, if you thought it was informative or just enjoyed the content, then leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. This is Redface Menace, signing off.